So weekly update number 25. I'm Chris Goodacre from Upsticks, and we help people get residency in Spain, mainly with a non-lucrative visa, EU family members, help people with NIE numbers, registering their vehicle, etc, etc. Check out our website. As always, this week we're going to be talking about what our clients have been up to in the UK before they come over, what's been happening in our calendar here in Spain, let you know about the appointments. We have our YouTube answers to the comments from this week, and we also have a special guest on our little Spain section in the end, where we talk about what's going on in and around Spain, out and about, what's ferias, what we've been drinking, what's been happening, a bit of news, really anything that I click on like during the week I put into this video, or any photos that I take which I think you might find interesting. So here we go, check it out. It's weekly update number 25. So weekly update number 25, and we are back from Torre del Mar, our very short break that we had last week. We've got another one coming up before the end of July, where we're actually going to a place called Peñíscola, which is in Castellón, which will be another Friday to Monday break. And then in August, I'm just going to have friends coming. No big holiday this year. Last year I went a couple of weeks to the UK because we needed to see a lot of family. We had to go to a wedding. But this year we're staying around, not having any big holidays, just a couple of weekend breaks. So you won't get rid of us that easily, and hopefully I can keep up to date with the weekend, with the weekly updates on time, which I generally try and record as much during the week, but work comes first, and all the content that we do, I normally do that in my spare time or at weekends. So though I would honestly love to dedicate doing more time to it, because I find it fun, to be honest. And I'd love to do more content surrounding living in Spain, just the psychology of moving to Spain. People who lived here for 5 years, 10 years, myself, I've lived here 25 years, and what it's like, what you go through on every single level, not just the practical stuff, which we there's an awful lot of practical stuff and what's happening in the here and now on our channel, but I would so much like to get into more the human element, the psychological aspect of moving to Spain and what it's like, and I will do that. So if you'd be interested in that kind of stuff, just let me know. You might turn and say, actually I'm not interested in that at all, Chris, I just want to move to Spain and live in the sun, enjoy myself, and don't talk about it. But on other fronts, I've been through so many journeys with my clients at times, people who have got ill. I've had clients which have passed, I've got clients which have come here, found it a disaster, didn't want to be here and leave. I've got clients which have embraced it so much that they've been here now for 20 years and got their own businesses and they've planned on working again. I've, like personally for myself, I've lived my whole adult life here, so albeit that I'm an immigrant in Spain, everything I know, including some of my vocabulary, is Spanish. It came to light the other day. You're going to see later on in this video, when I was in the UK, I can't ever remember eating legumes, which is like chickpeas, stuff like that. We do eat quite a few of them here, but I've sort of learned to cook Spanish way, and I didn't know the name of quite a few of these in English. It came up as well at work the other day. We were talking about typing on a keyboard. Well, all my IT skills were learned in Spain, so I've always used the Spanish keyboard, which is different to a English keyboard, and all my operating systems I keep in Spanish because that's what I know from when I first started using them 25 years ago. Like a mobile phone, we didn't have smartphones then, so when I started using the smartphone I just used it in Spanish from the start, and that's how I have my operating systems, because I understand it more. But anyway, let's not waffle on about that. But if you would like more content, I'm trying to do it with the podcast as well, about the psychology of moving to Spain, how you feel, what decisions have to be made before you come over, the stress, the happiness, stuff like that. I really would like to try and get more people on to talk about it, or maybe just share my own experiences with some of my clients and myself. But anyway, let's talk about the here and now. And we've had a report back from London, one of our clients. We haven't done a report for a couple of weekly updates, so here we go. And it is hot. Can I just say it is hot? I'm sat outside. I'm doing this outside because I thought I just wanted to show you what gorgeous weather it is, but I haven't got the parasol up. Yesterday it was 39, but on the wall it marked 43 in the sun, and it was 39 in the shade. Today it's saying it's 37 on my on-wall thermometer, and on the internet it's saying it's 33. It feels a lot warmer. You might be able to hear my kids have got their friends and out around in the background enjoying themselves, but obviously this year got to be careful with the water. There's no getting the hose pipe out and spraying it about because we are in a drought, but it's warm. But I thought, you know what, it's that warm, show everybody, come out and do it outside. So from London, we think it all went very well. One of our clients who's been this week, we arrived at the visa centre an hour and a half early, and they decided to risk going in early. I showed the appointment letter to the man on the door, who said no problem, go to reception and get a number. And we got our number, took a seat. About 5 minutes later we went to the counter. Well, they seem to be lovely in London. It seems to be sometimes very hectic, but people are getting in early. The chap there was very helpful and went through everything we had bought. It turns out the checklist that you sent us was the correct document, and the one downloaded from the BLS site was an old one. With these checklists, it's strange because they've updated them so many times. They do have an update date on them, but don't worry too much. All the BLS offices seem to have their own checklist printed out, the ones that they want. So if you've got an old one because they've sent you an old one, your appointment booking, don't worry too much about the checklist. The most important thing is the national visa application form, which you will now get downloaded once you've booked your appointment, your EX01 and your 790. He took all the financial information, saying if you're happy to leave it, it would be helpful. He then he checked my wife's stuff. He also gave us a sheet where we had to put our Spanish address, sign and date it. I don't know if this was missed out or something that we didn't download, but I need to investigate what that sheet is. I paid for the 2 visas separately, which he wanted. He then said it was finished. I thanked him and left. That was it. We went back to the Waterloo station 5 minutes before the appointment time. Now sitting on the train, happy to go home, feeling very happy. The documents have been handed in. So that is fantastic. That is a report back from London, going well. One thing which isn't going well, you can see it absolutely boiling here, but the show must go on. The one thing I didn't like was the report back that we got from Manchester this week, that the courier fee has now gone up to £29.99 to return the passports. That's just ridiculous. That's just £29.99 to return a passport from £24.99. So where does £5 come from? In what, it's not exactly in line with inflation, is it? This is what annoyed me about the acros as well. Go, what are we going to do? We're going to charge 65 quid now instead of 50, and apostilles, let's put them up by a tenner. It's just, does someone just pick these numbers out of a hat? You can think, okay, well, the cost of living's gone up, so we're going to have to put it up by £2 or £3, because of fuel and stuff like that. But let's just stick up a £5. It's just ridiculous. So wasn't happy about that, but there's nothing we can do. And the reason it goes up randomly like that is because there's nothing you can do, because they insist that you have it, and if you want to get your paperwork, that's what you've got to do. So good news as well, we've got some visas back from London. So we had some visas back to this week just gone, and they were from appointments on the 6th of June, so that would make them just bordering 6 weeks coming back. But they were visas that had a requirement letter which needed to be answered, so that may have put them back a week, so I'd say 5 to 6 weeks for those. And we had some visas back from Edinburgh as well, and their appointment was on the 31st of May. Again, they had a letter for more information, and that information was sent in, and then the visas were processed, handled, and sent out. What we find, it's not always the case, because the visa application goes into the consulate. If they're happy with it, they send it to immigration in Spain. Immigration in Spain approve the criminal record side of everything, and then they send it back and tell the clients they can get the visas. 90% of the time that they want more documents, we find out right at the beginning of the process. It's only a very small percentage that they come back after a long amount of time and say we want more documents. It's normally right at the beginning when they first receive the documents, and then they send it off to immigration. A few rare occasions after 5 or 6 weeks they've come back and said, okay, I actually want to see more documents, but it's very, very rare that happens. It's normally right at the beginning. So there we go, that's what's been happening over in the UK. Just another thing on that point, my parents, when they came over, they had a 3-hour plus delay where they weren't on the plane. Okay, they were not on the plane, they were sat in the airport, and it was for over 3 hours. So they arrived here 3 hours late. And they put a claim in with Ryanair, and 2 days later they both received over £300 in compensation for the delay. I'll find out. I only know some of this in a WhatsApp message yesterday, but check it out. If you do have any delays this summer, Ryanair really don't seem to be putting up any sort of fight against it. They sort of hold their hands up and pay. I know this happened to a friend of mine last year as well. If it was over 3 hours, I believe it is, if any of you got any experience, please let us know on this. Then you can claim and get some money back. And my experience is that they haven't put much of a fight up yet to give that money back. So that's something very important. If you have the delays coming out of the UK, I know it's different if you've got on the aircraft and you're delayed in the aircraft and you're waiting to go, but if you're actually in the airport, the delays should give you some form of compensation. Let's tell you what's been happening in Spain. So in Spain this week, as you can see, I've just moved around to see if I could get some shade, and that didn't work. Oh blimey, it's warm, but this is what we came to Spain for, wasn't it? All this heat and this sun. Even after 25 years, I still have two colours. That's red and white. That's red in the summer and white in the winter. It's just, I'm afraid that's the way my skin is. So we had this week an EU appointment in Velez, Malaga, which was very successful. Don't forget, you get your EU residency on the same day. We booked that 3 weeks before, which is amazing for July. And then it takes about half an hour at the appointment to get your residency card. The fundamentals being healthcare, finances, and proving you've got somewhere to live, and making sure you contact us, send our representative to help you out. We also had a Toma de Huella. Toma de Huella is the fingerprint appointment where you go and register yourself if you've got a visa or any sort of permission to live in Spain if you're a third country national, and that was in Orihuela. Now, Orihuela suddenly opened up appointments in the afternoon after a month of trying for Alicante, and now for the following week, and we did all of those this week and they all went very well. Orihuela was one of the stricter police stations as well, I have to say. We had some golden visa renewals, so some renewals go through. Again, afternoon appointments in Malaga, and they seem to take a long time. A lot of desks, not many people, and they weren't in much of a rush considering it was summer. But let's hope in July, afternoon visa registration appointments in July. It's just amazing. I can't tell you when you work in our industry how happy we are to see these come online. It's just why Almeria and Alicante, please take note. We need more Toma de Huella appointments in the afternoon. Malaga are heading up the way there. Though I went on this morning, it wasn't showing any appointments from Malaga, but we have seen them come in the afternoon. So yeah, it's a great thing, because in the past we would never imagine that police stations would be open in the afternoon to do this. Costa, who works with us in Valencia, he also confirmed that they do appointments in the afternoon in Valencia as well. And we had a long discussion yesterday about the introduction of digital certificates across the board to start booking clients' appointments. Let's see how that goes. We'll keep you in the loop here. And our last thing that we had going on was a driving license. We had 3 driving licenses, sorry, but it was an ITV for a vehicle which is actually being brought in by paying the taxes. Our clients have actually done the calculation and said, you know what, even paying VAT, duty, the special registrations tax and all the fees, it's still worth bringing the vehicle in from the UK. So we've passed that on. You might be able to hear a tractor behind me right now. They're still picking the lemons, as I said before, and I should show you really, shouldn't I? And the ITV was successful, but also took a while. Now we're getting the appointments quite quickly again for July. I was lining everybody up for August. We put the application in the beginning of July. 2 weeks later, the appointments are going through. Next week, we've got another 2 ITVs at El Viso. So whatever has happened in the past years, Malaga is heading the way at the moment for keeping it running in summer. We always say in summer, be careful, point and stop, this, that and the other. We know August is a terrible year, but this year, so far, so good for Malaga. And let's be honest, so far so good for the visas. Yeah, so the visas have been coming out, you know, considering other summers it's been 3-4 months. 5 weeks, 6 weeks is not a bad wait really. Let's see what August has to offer, but yeah, so far this summer we're happy. Okay then, let's check out now our YouTube comments, and I'm going to take you also for a drive around Guadalhorce. And as you're watching the comments, see if you can spot the cheeky accident that happened when I was driving to get my B-roll. So in Spain this week. So now on to our YouTube comments for the week, and we have starting off with this comment from the Nuneaton Nomad 5357. Hi Chris, enjoying the content, following on from my 20-minute chat on the 3rd of the 7th with you. I was hoping to get an email with some contact info for you and your financial advisor Jeremy F. Can't seem to find any contact info on your website other than to book another call. Cheers. I've stuck the link below, but I'll check out why we haven't contacted you, because we always send a follow-up email normally to the calls. So and you can always drop us a call to an email, sorry, to support@upsticks.es if you can't get hold of us. And moving on to the next one from our ePrem video. This is from Ella Hezaberi 3660. Thank you Chris for great information. I am a female 73-year-old Australian citizen. If I buy an apartment in Spain to live on, I don't have to pay rent. Do I have to show 28,800 per year, or is it going to be less? I appreciate your answer. Thank you and God bless. Well, the answer to that is it's always best to have the 28,800 anyway. They do say that you can take into account ownership of a property, but they don't give us the percentages of the EPREM that counts for. So we always advise it's best to have the cash asset or income or a combination of both if possible. Next one is Paul Pilot. What's your view on what has been going on in Barcelona in relation to many tourists? Do you think it will start to put people off moving to Spain? To answer your question, no, I don't think it will put people off moving to Spain. I think it's a tough one, the residents versus tourists in certain cities. This has been derived basically from the fact that people who lived in the cities all their lives are now being pushed out or being priced out. So, you know, they can't rent stuff. The wages do not match the rents. It's the same here in Malaga. What's happening? I mean, I was walking in Malaga the other day, looking at the apartments, and they're already, you know, hitting some of the better ones, 2, 3, 4 million euros for an apartment in Malaga, which is unheard of 10 years ago. You know, in the outskirts you can still get cheap rents, well, cheapish rents, but I think it's more the Airbnb rise. Now, in terms of the hotels, brilliant. Everybody wants the tourism in the hotels. You go to any tourist area, Torremolinos, Benalmádena, Marbella, Lanzarote. I mean, I saw there was a big protest on Tenerife, but everybody I spoke to really wants the tourists. The businesses work from the tourists, and I don't think it's going to stop people moving to areas which have embraced the immigrant population, especially from the UK. Like there's towns like COMPETA. If you go to Almeria, you've got Alboleas, where there's a big population of people living there from the UK. And so yeah, but I do see the problem in the big cities with the Airbnbs, that basically people don't want the tourists to rent out what used to be residential accommodation. I think this is where it's come from. I saw that there was on one of the news a photo, somebody put a banner up in the beach in Barcelona saying this isn't a tourist beach. Well, I think if you've got a beach, unfortunately, you've got to understand that tourists are going to go to it. Back to our weekly update 24, and this is from Ant and Kes. Thanks guys, great video. Just back from a holiday in Bordeaux. Oh, I'd love to go to the wine museum there. Visiting family, looking forward to catching up with you, some of your YouTube. Have a great last night, your holidays. Yeah, that was good. And here we have, I have to pay my traffic fine, but there is something wrong. I press continue and then it says error. Error, the document number entered is not correct, or the amount indicated does not comply with the format. I'd say that's a strange one. Unfortunately, you know, we can advise on the videos when it works. When it goes wrong, because we can't see what you're doing, it's hard to tell you what the error is. But I would say phone 060, or failing that, you'll have to get an information appointment at Traffico to find out what the problem is. And the next one we have, moving on, buying and renting property before getting an unlooked-to visa, from JMTM4HB 3 days ago. Our Culpas will be very pleased to know you leave your property empty when your 90 days expires. Well, if for those of you who don't know, our Culpas are squatters, and there is a big problem in Spain with squatters. What I can say to that is, if you have got a property that you're leaving, just make sure you've got adequate security measures in place, which would include an alarm. If you have an alarm and the Culpa set off the alarm, these can be managed by your mobile phone app as well. Then they won't be able to stay the 24 hours, which makes it hard to then kick them out afterwards. But all comments are welcome. Here we go. This is another comment. What have we got going on here? From Mick Smith. Hi Chris, how much do you charge to help with the NLV application? Thanks. Our service fee starts per person, depending on the area where you're applying from, at €695. Doesn't include the certificates, but when we have our discovery call, we'll go through the exact costs. We do include the S1 registration in our fee, and depending on the area, it might be a little bit more expensive, but prices start at €695 per person, which includes VAT as well. We've been like that now for 3 years, haven't put our prices up, and everybody seems to be happy with that. Now we're moving on to the next one, which is what we got here next. And I think that's it for our YouTube comments. Brilliant. Okay then guys, well look, you can see this is the video that you're watching now, is us driving around Guadalhorce, which is it's a industrial area in Malaga, and I thought, well, why not get another out and about driving video while I went through our YouTube comments. Okay then, now on to a bit of fun, what's happening out and about in Spain, and we have a special guest for you on this section of the weekly update. And on to what's happening in Spain, and guess what? I've got a special guest for me today. Who? He's just gone over the road there. So, right, what's happening?
The drinks are here.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Lovely.
Doesn't matter, we'll still roll. Living in Spain,
roll.
that's what it's all about. Gracias. A decaffeinated coffee with ice. Because years ago, the decaffeinated coffee used to taste naff, so you never have it decaffeinated. But nowadays, it's just as good as normal coffee. So I've already had one this morning, so that's what we're going to have. No sugar.
No sugar.
Sweet enough.
No, you don't like sugar.
Don't like sugar. You can have mine if you want.
No, I've got one. I think one will be enough. I don't normally have sugar, but I need the glucose because I'm going in for the IV chemo.
That's it. Let's start about what's happening in Spain. What we'll talk about. We didn't come here to talk about coffee, did we? No. So I'm here with SKATZ at the moment, and we're going in for a round. Oh well, I'm not going in. I'm just going in to talk.
You can if you want. I'm going to try it on you as well.
No, I don't know. I don't want that. We're going into SKATZ's third IV chemo treatment. We've been in this morning to see a very nice lady. The doctor, the third consultant that we've seen, third different consultant that we've seen, asking you the same set of questions every time that you go in. Then you go down to the planta uno and ask you the same set of questions every time. But at least we know the system now, more or less.
We do, yes. We're getting used to it.
Apart from you get a different answer every time you ask about blood results. But
yeah, leukocytes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to read up on that.
I wonder if Lucozade helps leukocytes.
No, just tops off your glucose probably.
So yeah, that was it. So we're here in Boo in good spirits as always. We've been to the secret cafe and then we went to the hospital. We've got a trick. Today we said, right, what we're going to do is, we got caught out last week at the back of the queue because we did the very British thing of going on time. Okay, so this time we're going to sneak in. So we went an hour earlier, didn't we? Snuck the paperwork straight in.
Yeah.
We realised that at 10 o'clock when the doctor started shouting over the tannoys that they were moving, and then at 10:45 on the dot, when we had the appointment, we got called in. So we brought our wait time forward rather than having to wait later in the day, which we're hoping is now going to bring SKATZ's treatment forward as well, because last time we were an hour delayed getting into the consultant and you were 2 hours delayed getting your treatment, weren't you?
Yeah, or more like maybe 3.
3 hours, yeah.
Like 4:15 when I went and I sat down at 1:30. It's 4:15 when I eventually got myself waved in. I went, saw that same bloke who was on the desk today on the computer, and he eventually just went, yeah, come through.
And this is why SKATZ wearing such a bright t-shirt today, apart from the fact because it keeps him happy. He's going for chemo treatment and it's nice to be having a happy t-shirt when you're going to do that.
Hippie and happy, look at that.
But it's also so they don't forget him in the waiting room.
Yeah, and I'm going to mention Terry Pratchett again because I had a discussion with that guy and his mate about how much they like Terry Pratchett, and I was reading one of the books. So that's the first thing I'm going to shout when I go in there.
You've now got any chufi.
What's that?
Chufi is what they say is when you know somebody inside, they call it a plug. So you've got an chufi there already. So you find different ways. People find, it's very common here in Spain for people to find common ground with people to then get ahead of the queue.
Okay.
It's called an enchufe.
Okay. So do I call him an enchufe, or is it?
No, he is your enchufe.
He's my enchufe. Me enchufe.
So anyway, we're at the Hospital de Seville, and Hospital Seville behind us, as you might see, because I forgot to position my notes correctly. I'm looking behind you at the notes. I don't know this off the top of my head. But it's from the 19th century. It opened its doors in 1862, and I can tell you, when you're inside, you can tell it did. Not because it's scruffy, it's just the architecture is absolutely amazing. It's huge, high ceilings, it's big arches everywhere, and big corridors. In nowadays, that would just not be the case, would it? But,
there's no artwork in there. It's just kind of white walls,
which is very strange. They need some artwork. Maybe we should put that suggestion forward.
Yes. Maybe that frightens the mad people, because it looks like a place where there would be mad people.
It does. It does. It does. It looks like it could have been. Probably leave that there. 450 beds apparently, according to Google as well, there for inpatients, and there's a lot of outpatient activity. And I can tell you the cancer ward where we go, which is called, what's it called?
Oncology.
That's the one.
Oncology
is always packed. Though we do have our little tricks now. It's taken us 3 trips to work it out on how to get in and get out, hopefully. So for those of you who have we've got one client actually I know watches the show who may be having to come here as well, and finding your videos really advantageous, just knowing where it is, what you need to do. And it's in the Avenida Dr. Galvez Quinchero, and we are sat in a very nice bar opposite called Onya, which is quite a famous bar really for...
Is this the same one? I know we're in Santo Vino now.
Oh no, we're in Santo Vino now, which is a restaurant, because we've moved away from Onya to be able to record this video without getting lots of strange looks, though we're still getting strange looks anyway. So there we go, that's what we're doing here in Malaga. Now I wanted to move on to something which I saw last week when I was in Torre del Mar. Now, did you hear about the fire?
Yes, I did. I saw about it on Facebook first, on the local Facebook group. And there were loads of people talking about it, and people had just driven past it. And you drove past it, didn't you? I don't know very much about it, but I just knew it was a big fire because all black smoke going straight up, and it just looked big.
Well, check this out. This is the B-roll that I have for this fire. Now, I was in Torre del Mar on the beach, and I'd actually, because we were on a little bit of a break, and I went out with my dad, and we were going to the shops, and suddenly saw this big plume of black smoke. And evidently we had to go and investigate, and this is the video that we got, and it was incredible. At this point there wasn't even any fire engines here, it just must have gone up. It was a subtropical, and I've got the name here, subtropical fruit storage warehouse. I'm assuming that subtropical means mangoes and things like that, called Reyes Gutierrez, and it was on the A356. As you say, a lot of people drive down that road. You've got two choices: you can either drive through Velez to get down to the coast, or drive down the A356. And it was so lucky that more didn't go up, because that area is just full of pallets and fruit places and stuff with a lot of flammable equipment in there. So yeah, apparently it caused millions of euros worth of damage. And
they closed the motorway or something, or part of that road.
They ended up closing the motorway, and according to Malaga ABC, it was the fire engines from Velez, Periana, Rincon, De La Victoria and Colmenar all came to save the day. So huge fire. But this time of year, it's always, what the article was saying, that it's highlighted the risk of fires this time of year, and we know we've had big ones, so being careful. Who knows how it started, but the smallest bit of spark in this heat and how dry it's been this year could set anything off. So that was a bit bad. And
no injuries though?
3 people got taken to the hospital behind us. So I just said I read that as well. So 3 people with smoke inhalation, but no deaths basically.
Good.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, now I've got COMPETA's most famous citizen with me.
One of them.
What about definitely the most. Yeah. What about the FERIA? When's that? So that falls in nicely with your treatment as well, doesn't it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, because my treatment is like about 5 days of horribleness, and altogether 14 days, 2 weeks of not quite horrible, and then there's like a week after that where it's not too bad. And the FERIA in COMPETA is right, it's like in almost 3 weeks time, so that's the 25th to the 28th of July. 3 days before your next round of treatment. Yeah, so that's perfect. Which means that I can feel good while I'm doing it. Not that I tend to go to many FERIA events, although there are some really good ones. There seems to be music all of the time in a few different places, and there's 2 plazas where they put events on. Brilliant. And near the school as well, or the swimming pool, there's a few places which are big enough to have loads of people, and there's some tents there, and there's like a fairground in one area as well. So there's lots going on, and I think it's the FERIA where they blow foam into onto one of the plazas right next to where the restaurants are, and people just jump in and out of that. And the first year I was here, I dived in. And it's brilliant. And I just stood facing them with my arms out, and they blew it straight on into my face, which is good. But it just gets all over you, and it makes you all slippery.
Yeah.
So if you go then and pick up your drink and it just drops out your hand, it's very funny. Everybody dives in.
I went to a foam party once, but it was 1995 in Ibiza, so there wasn't a FERIA here. I think we're past that now. 30 years ago.
But I think you jump into it in the COMPETA one, because it's right next to the restaurant, and people are sitting at the restaurant tables next to the foam bin. It's like up to their knees, and they're just carrying on drinking and having fun.
Just don't wear the orange Upsticks t-shirt, because if not I'd look like the Tango Man. I've got a little bit of a belly on me at the moment, so I'll just look like, get very wet and all sticky, wouldn't it? But
sticky wet Tango Man.
We'll have to see if we can get up for that. I did have plans. We're supposed to be going for 1 weekend to Valencia, and I think it's around there, but if not, then we might come and see about it.
There's a lot of fireworks as well.
Always seems to be fireworks.
It's not good for the dogs, and we live just up above the town, so sometimes, quite regularly, when the fireworks go up, they actually explode, and the bangers explode level with us. So that's not good. Not good for one of our dogs.
We'll have to, we'll see if you can get any footage from that. Nick me a photo at all.
Yes,
that'd be good. Which brings me on to my next thing: is if you are watching the show on the channel, and we're showing you an awful lot about Malaga, because that's where I live, and when I get out of Malaga, I'm going to take more photos. In this section of the weekly update, I really want to get more about out and about in Spain living. But obviously, if you guys who are out there, our clients or followers, if you've got photos of other ferias or any videos videos that you can send across. Just drop an email to me to chris@upsticks.es, and I'll put it on this section of the weekly update, because we do like to know what's happening in the popular areas where we're not going, don't we? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Malaga's is huge, isn't it?
Malaga's huge. I'll definitely get to Malaga's fair this year. I won't be going to the night. I'll be going to the day fair, but the day fair is also a big drunken affair in the middle of Malaga. It's terrible. You wouldn't really take kids. You want to go to the actual fair in the day with kids. I went to the day fair with my sister a couple of years ago, and by 6 o'clock, we had a great day, but we were like, by 6 o'clock, we're like, we need to get out of here now.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit rowdy.
Yes, indeed, and that's early in. That's a couple of weeks after the COMPETA one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Middle of second week in August, maybe.
Second week. It's the last. I think it's the 20. The Malaga one. I'll put the dates below, but I think it's even a month after COMPETA. Actually.
Oh, is it? Is it that late?
Yeah. It's that late.
Okay.
So just going on to this one, just a quick bit, show you what happened with the festival last week. This is just a couple of videos showing you how it was. It was really a cool do. Look, if you ever are in Torre del Mar and you like listening to live music and you want to experiment with Spanish music, because a lot of it is electronic, but the other is Spanish pop and rock, definitely I suggest that you go to the weekend festival. They've reduced the timetable this year and they reduced the size of it, but I thought that helped the atmosphere, because it felt like a festival. Last year it just felt like a lot of separate stages, so that was cool. And this is a drink that I wanted to show you, because this is just I haven't mentioned it on the channel before, and this is called PACHARAN. Now this is a very old school Spanish drink which we are losing now. If you speak to younger people under 30 years old, they don't really know what it is. It's just something that grandparents used to drink after a meal, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a drink, slow liqueur, which they generally give you with coffee beans. You have to swirl the coffee beans, don't bite into them, let them take the flavour a little bit, and then it's an aperitif. No, aperitif's before, isn't it?
Aperitif, yeah.
Aperitif's after. Aperitif's before. Can be used as aperitif, but it's a digestive for after the meal. Yeah. So definitely try one of these when you go. It's not too strong. It's only about 22. You know, it's a liqueur. It's not a short or a strong drink, so it's definitely worth trying if you're going to be living in Spain. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was we watched this has been recorded on the Friday to go out on the Sunday, so tonight is the final, and we watched last night together with some of my friends the semi-final.
Second semi-final, yeah. So it's Thursday now.
So it's Thursday.
And it was Wednesday, the second semi-final.
That's it, Wednesday. Thursday today we're recording this, and it's going to go out on Sunday, so tonight in about, if I can get this up, 6 o'clock, in about 3 hours, you're going to see the final.
Yeah.
What's your prediction, SKATZ? Everybody keeps saying to me, Chris, do you support Spain or do you support England? I'm English. Evidently, I support England. I've had to suffer 2 European wins.
And how much do we suffer?
And the World Cup win with my friends here. I cheer Spain on whenever they're playing. Whenever there's a Spanish game, I go along and I cheer them on. And I'm so happy when they win. But I am an England supporter because I'm from England. So I support England and the sufferance that goes with that, which is hopefully, unfortunately, going to turn around against my mates this evening, where I can be like, finally, it's our turn.
Yeah, and you've not got that many English mates living nearby, so it's all going to be Spanish people.
It's all going to be Spanish. They're coming to my house. There's only me, my mate Glenn, them other mates who will come in, and which poses the question is, because me and Glenn speak Spanish, what language are we going to put the football on? Because they want to see it in Spanish, and I really want to see it in English. I think I might have to fold.
Do you really want to hear those commentators? Well, I suppose you do, don't you?
Well, yeah.
As long as it's the BBC one.
They're so biased in Spanish towards the Spanish. I want to hear the energy from the...
Maybe you put both on, that'll be confusing.
Yeah, that'd be. So anyway, what are your predictions? Put them below. Put them below.
My prediction.
What's your prediction? Let's see it.
My prediction. Well, I'm English, obviously, and I've suffered all these years, and I didn't think England were going to get through to the final. But the first time I saw Spain play, I thought, this is an amazing team. They've got gumption. This is what I said on one of my videos. They've just got the spirit, and they're so fun to watch. Not only that, they've got two players who are well under 20. Yamal, who just scored in the semi-final as well. At last, I've been predicting he's going to score. I've been predicting all the way through that Spain are going to win, and I still think they're going to win. 2-1, 3-1, I don't know, something like that.
You have to give a prediction. It can't be 2 or 3-1. What's your prediction, SKATZ? Give us it. Give us the prediction.
Finals are really, really tight, aren't they? I'd say it would go 2-1, but I know my heart's saying it's going to be about 8-0 to Spain.
Is that your final answer?
No, I'll go with 2-1. Both of the semi-finals were 2-1, and they were quite hard and tight, and you know, there's always more fear in the final. But there's nothing more to lose. You've just got to.
You're going 2-1 Spain.
2-1 Spain. Yeah. But who am I supporting is a different question. That's more confusing.
Who are you supporting?
Well, I was supporting England last night, and the night before I was supporting Spain. So it was just. It's going to be awful. What I think I'll do, and this is how I enjoy matches more, is I won't support either of them. I'm going to go equal. I'll cheer whichever goal goes in. What I want to see is a really good game, end to end, really wide. None of you messing about like England tend to do, especially in the second half. I want a good game. I want something really, really exciting, and then I won't mind who wins. Part of me will mind if England loses.
I will mind if they lose.
I think Spain deserve to win.
So you're going 2-1 to Spain.
2-1 Spain.
Final answer.
Yeah, final answer.
Final answer. I'm going, check this out, 3-0 to England. 3-0
So
to England.
Nobody from Spain will score at all.
No, I think England are completely going to break their system.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the nerves will be too much for the younger players and the pressure of what's come before. And I think this is the time that England's going to step up, break their system. They're going to score 1 in the first half and 2 very late goals in the second half when the Spanish get nervous.
Well, I bet you could get really good odds on that.
I bet I could.
Yeah. On that particular score.
EU dares.
I don't think Spain are going to not score any at all. But there we go. We will see.
Anyway, look, thanks for watching Weekly Update number 25. I think I actually got that right this week, because every week I seem to get the number wrong, but it doesn't matter. That was Weekly Update number 25. Don't forget the details if you want to support SKATZ and his channel and his cancer journey are below, and we'll try and stick a QR code around here somewhere, and we'll see you next week for Weekly Update number 26.